Hi everyone, my name is Zara and I'm an aspiring author on top of being a full-time army. Today I thought I'd sort out the songs from BTS's Skool Trilogy into a few tiers. The first tier are songs that I consider absolute masterpieces. So these are songs that basically I'm ready to be buried with when I die. No exaggeration. The second tier are songs that I love. I have these on repeat 24/7, but maybe they're missing just a few elements to make them masterpieces. The third tier includes songs that I become enamored with from time to time, but they might not be songs that I listen to as often as I do the top two tiers. The fourth tier are songs that I will vibe to if they come on during a playlist, but perhaps not songs that I would actively seek out and listen to. The fifth tier are songs that I sometimes end up skipping. Yes, this is the lowest rating I could give a BTS song. I have a sixth tier, songs that I have a love-hate relationship with, but honestly, this tier was created for a few specific songs in the whole of BTS's discography, so I likely won't talk about it much. You'll understand what I mean when we get to those songs. Before I do start sorting them into tiers, I'd like to make it clear that BTS is my favorite musical act, so the majority of these songs, even the ones in lower tiers, place higher than they do for any other artist that I listen to. That being said, as much as I want to place all the songs in top two rows, I want to be a bit more critical than that, so if that bothers you, just, maybe don't watch this video. So you might be wondering what criteria I'm judging these songs with. As a writer, I want to focus on the lyrics, not only because that's what my strength is, but because that's what attracts me most to a song in the first place. Of course, I have to vibe with the song sonically to like it, and that will factor into some of my decisions, but I also want to do a bit of a lyrical breakdown as I sort them into tiers. I thought that'd be a little bit fun. Obviously, I'm not going to do a lyrical breakdown of the whole song or every single song because that will take a while, but just the highlights. I'm not very musically inclined, so my comments about the production will likely be sparing and wholly based on personal taste, so just keep that in mind. I also likely won't talk about the performance or choreography of each song either, unless I feel they add an extra dimension to the meaning of the song. Okay, let's get started. So first up, we have Intro to Cool for School. It's a bit of a funky intro to BTS's discography, with the iconic big hit exclusive. Honestly, I don't have much to say about this except for the fact that I'm eternally grateful for its existence, because without it we wouldn't have gotten the sample for Hobie's Ego. So I'm gonna put it into tier 4. We Are Bulletproof Part 2. I think this is very symbolic of early BTS, full of fighting spirit, ready to take on the world and prove themselves. Considering their background, it's no wonder they were constantly undermined by the hip-hop heroes, the industry, everyone. So this is basically just a big "we'll show you" to all of those. That's why I believe the lyrics are so full of grit. Jungkook talks about how they pulled all-nighters, how they chased after their dreams while everybody else was busy living their life. Yoongi continues that sentiment and opts to throw in some shade against idol rappers for good measure, claiming that they rap because they can't sing, while the BTS rappers rap because they have passion for it. Hobie and Namjoon rap about their rise from the underground, opting to single out their underground hip-hop heroes who look down upon them for debuting as an idol group. One of my favorite Namjoon lyrics in this verse is, "They told me it's impossible, but look at me carefully. Playing a period on impossible, I'm possible." Oh, it's pure art. No wonder Namjoon wanted to be a poet. Like, lyrics like these. Anyways, calm down. But ultimately, I think my favorite lyric from We Are Bulletproof Part 2 that I think captures its essence is, "Throw stones at me if you think you worked as hard as I have." I think it encapsulates a lot of the negative criticism thrown at people who work in creative fields. As a writer myself, I can tell you that with absolute certainty that constructive criticism is very, very important and vital to an artist's growth. But that being said, there's a very fine line between constructive criticism from people who actually know what they're talking about versus just hate thrown from people who honestly don't even know much about, for example, music. And this is what I believe negativity that's disguised as criticism. There's a famous anecdote in my culture that goes a little like this. A painter paints a tree and sets the painting outside with a note asking passerbys to criticize it. When he goes to retrieve it, there are tons and tons of comments. Some say the color scheme is too bright, other people, say that it's not bright enough. Some people say that the shadows are too long, while others feel that the shadows aren't emphasized enough. Some people think you should have drawn more animals inside the tree, or they say that the birds in the sky are taking away the focus from the tree. The painter, of course, is severely overwhelmed by this influx of polarized opinions. He sets the painting outside the next day, this time with paint and equipment next to it, and a note asking passerbys to correct any mistakes. Would you believe it? When he goes to retrieve it at the end of the week, there's not a single change made to it. Because honestly, it's far too easy to sit on one's high horse and criticize the works of others based on one's personal taste than it is to actually go and do the work that they do. It's far more difficult to create than it is to tear apart these creations. And that's what this line captures completely. Throw stones at me if you've ever worked as I have. Wow. I must admit that I didn't love this song when I first listened to it. It's very sonically different from what I'm used to, but it really, really grew on me. The choreo is absolute fire as always, with the highlight, of course, being the dance break. The click, click, bang, bang part is actually one of the few moves I can actually do, so that's always a plus. Suga mentions in his album review that instead of discouraging anyone else, the song was made purely to lift themselves up, and I think that's very Bangtan of them. So I'm gonna give the song a 9. No choice but to place it in the second tier. The next track we have is No More Dream. This track personifies the early BTS motive of challenging societal norms, rather aggressively as compared to how they do it modern day, if I may add. Namjoon starts us off with a question, what is your dream? As Yoongi launches into the first verse with the iconic, I want a big house, big car, and big rings, a sentence that he alludes to time and time again in his future works. Yoongi talks about living through life rather mindlessly, without having any proper aspirations, and Namjoon adds that he lives in a world where all the people around him move like sheep, right? Nobody actually knows what it is that they want. He then laments on leaving behind a childhood full of dreams for the harsh reality of the modern world. The chorus of the song is basically BTS trying to knock some sense into these sheep, right? By sheep, I mean the students. To wake them up and to urge them to think critically about themselves, their current situation, and where they want to be in the future. Is your dream really to be mundane? Cut the lies. That sort of thing. The song was a debut, and BTS actually received a lot of criticism for it. They were asked about it in an interview once, and Namjoon confessed that the lyrics of the song were dedicated to his past self, and so he therefore refused to feel embarrassed about it because of the criticism they were receiving. And I just find that so incredibly cool. Oh, and there's a line in the song where Yoongi questions if a civil servant is really a teen's dream. In the album review, he clarifies he doesn't actually hate civil servants at all. He quite admires them for the work they do for the country. He just really dislikes how parents push their kids towards becoming one. And I just find that a bit amusing about how he cleared things up, and low-key touching. Not that I'm a civil servant, but I think this song is a solid 8.5 for me, so I'm gonna put it in the second row. The interlude. To be honest, I don't really have much thoughts on this. It's a short and sweet segue into Like. To be honest, I sometimes skip it to get to Like faster, so here you go. Okay, this one is an absolute bop. This is honestly such a vibey song, one that you can find yourself slow dancing with just an RJ Teddy lying around. Not that I do that. I'm sure some of you do, but definitely not me. If Pining was a song, I think it would be this one. It revolves around the members, scrolling through social media and finding their ex's photo, an ex that they still have feelings for. BTS make an interesting parallel with the like function on social media posts and to like someone. Like someone. The lyrics to the song are pretty straightforward. The guys are jealous at seeing their ex garner tons of male attention, tons of likes, of seeing her with her new boyfriend, of wondering whether she still thinks of him too. The choreo to this is also very cute. Also, it's hilarious looking at their outfits back in the day. They're all rough and tough with the chains and the all black and the leather jackets, and then they're singing this song. It's wonderful. I will absolutely vibe to this song, but to be honest, I don't actively search for it to listen to. So this is a controversial opinion, but there you go. 7. Outro Circle Room Cypher. This is actually hilarious. Rap line is dissing other rappers, Taehyung is dissing the rap line, and Jimin is dissing Taehyung. Just the usual shenanigans. Jungkook just going absolute off on this, and the iconic net unit chin. It's something I always smile to when I listen to it with the lyrics in front of me. I mean, by now I don't even need the lyrics in front of me to understand what they're saying. Not because I know Korean, but because I memorized it. But to be honest, it's not something that I actively go out and listen to, because it is somewhat like a skit. So somewhere between the 3rd and 4th rows, I'll place it in 4th. So the last track on this album is called Path, or Road in some cases. It's a hidden track, so it only comes with the physical album, and it's an incredibly personal one that details their journey from wanting to do music to becoming trainees to getting to debut. The song is filled with nostalgia, reflection, uncertainty, and an underlying current of ambition and need to prove themselves. Namjoon, Yoongi, and Hobi each detail the journey they underwent to get to where they are now. My favorite lyrics from this song are from Yoongi's verse. I thought I was alone, but then learned that it was 7. Rather than being barefoot, I wear the shoes that are called Bangtan. I found it very heartwarming and solidifying proof of the bond between the BTS members even in their earliest days. I also love how Hobi is determined to, and I quote, carve Bangtan into a blank page that is called the world, because that is exactly what they did. They really carved their names into the world. That's making me tear up. I give this song a solid 9. Intro, Oh Are You Late Too? This intro builds on the themes from Too Cool for School, and I think it introduces Oh Are You Late Too very well. In No More Dream, they ask the listeners what their dream is, and in this intro, Namjoon puts his hand on his heart and really asks himself, wait, what is my dream? Namjoon references a part of this speech, the line saying, my heart stopped when I was 9 and 10 for his first UN speech, and I find that it makes this song so much more powerful. It's clear that the themes running through the Skool trilogy are very, very personal to him, and of course rest members, and I respect that so much. The man has an IQ of 148. Let's be honest, he could have excelled in any aspect of school that he wanted to, and yet he found himself numb, living without any passion in his life, because what is life if you aren't enjoying each stage of it? I love what this intro does. But if I'm honest, I very rarely specifically go out and listen to it. I think it very well serves the purpose it's supposed to though. So I'm gonna place it full vibe too. No is next. N-O. Did you know that N-O stands for no offense? A lot of people are surprised when I bring that up for some reason. So it's always amusing. Anyways, N-O to me is like the sequel to No More Dream. No More Dream preaches about the importance of dreams, and N-O not only enhances that message, but also deconstructs the reason why people don't dream. Or I guess, more accurately, the opposition students face for having a dream, if that makes sense. Okay, case 1. Kids are conditioned into thinking materialistic success will lead to a happier life, which is highlighted by Namjoon's opening lines. Jungkook goes to emphasize how students in Korea are worked so hard they don't even have time to breathe. And for what, you know? What are they doing all this for? And the second case is that the suffering is only momentary. This kind of mindset is so prevalent in Asian parents especially. I would know, I have them. You're supposed to work hard your entire youth so that you can one day be happy in the future, but the illusion of work now, play later is just that, an illusion. When we set conditions on when we're allowed to feel happy, we never actually end up fulfilling those conditions. Think about it. I'll be happy once I get into college, then turns into I'll be happy once I graduate with good marks, which then turns into I'll be happy once I get a good job, which then turns into I'll be happy once I get a promotion. It's never ending. And that, I believe, is one of the core messages of this song. Later is meaningless. You should ensure that you're happy now. If you study a subject you don't even like to get a job you don't even enjoy it, like, what are you really living for? I think this was a very necessary message to spread, especially given the educational climate in not only South Korea, but a lot of Asian countries. And it spreads to a lot of Western countries as well, though to a quite lesser extent. Therefore, I am inclined to give this a solid 9. I really love this song. Honestly speaking, I think this is my second favorite diss track kind of song that BTS have ever done. I know I'm not going to tell you what the first is yet. Anyways, this track is definitely a direct response to those who called Namjoon and Yoongi sellouts since they came from an underground hip-hop background. Or, as the narrative was, they betrayed underground hip-hop. This line sums up the song very well. Whatever my haters say, I'm here for my music. Honestly, there's some very interesting wordplay happening in all of the verses, but I'm not going to go through all of that. I've linked Dual Set site though, and it's my go-to for lyric resources, so definitely go there and have a look. The opening verse is Namjoon's. He talks about whatever name he's called by, be it Orange Randa, his underground rapper name, or Rap Monster, his stage name at the time. He will always be authentic and sincere in his approach to his music. The line, "You guys only see what you want to see anyway," is so true. When it comes to haters in any form really, but specifically BTS haters. There's a famous Briefly interview I'm sure that a lot of us have seen, and there's a part of it where the underground rappers are saying, "We believe rappers should write their own stuff." And Namjoon's like, "Yeah, I agree, I do write my own stuff." And he's like, and then Namjoon asks them, "Have you listened to it? Have you listened to our stuff?" And the underground rappers, who had been so vehemently tearing down BTS's stuff and calling Namjoon and Yoongi traitors, admitted that they hadn't even bothered to listen to their music, but they felt they didn't need to in order to comment on it. Honestly, that sums up BTS's haters, right? Most of them have never even heard a BTS song, or at least the ones that I've come across. Namjoon finishes the verse with a promise to live up to his name Rap Monster and to be the only one rather than number one, regardless of what the haters say. My favorite line is from Yoongi's verse. "I'm a rap black belt, you guys are just green belts. There's no improvement." Well, green belts are A, lower than black belts in martial arts, and B, they also refer to an area of land where building activities are restricted by law. So Yoongi is saying that basically not only are these other rappers below him, they also have no chance in improving their position. Which, I mean, how does one survive a burn like that? You just can't. Jacob takes it a step further. He called out the people who looked down on them before, and, once seeing the success of Tugu for Skool, they congratulate BTS. Obi calls it out for what it is, a means of building connections. And he ends his verse by saying that it's far too soon for all those who, looked down on them before to be odd, and that BTS plan to go much further and much higher. Indeed you did, Hobie. Indeed you did. I'm gonna give the song a solid 8. Off you go. If I Rule the World. This is a fun song about what BTS would do if they ruled the world, if you couldn't tell by the title. Talk about the usual, girls, money, cars, clothes, etc, etc. My favorite line from this is once again Yoongi's, "I'd become the Kim Jong-un of the hip-hop scene and censor any music other than ours." Because same, BTS's music is superior. The core of this song is naive wishful thinking, to be honest. Namjoon starts off with basically establishing a Namjoon nation, but then both Yoongi's verse and the chorus state that they know that their wishes don't make sense, but nevertheless they want to pretend that they do. Hobie, on the other hand, is more firm about it, that one day he's going to give these dreams to himself as a gift. For me, this song is a thinly veiled allegory of being successful. The BTS in this time period have said multiple times that they are certain of their success, that they will one day become so big that their haters won't know what to do. And in this song, they both exaggerate that and undermine it. They exaggerate what would happen when they end up ruling the world, and they also express doubts about it. They know that it's a childish dream, and yet they want to dream anyway. It's my dream, don't make fun of it. For me, this song doesn't really stand out on this album, and it's not something I personally vibe with a lot. I don't mind listening to it when it comes on, but if it comes on too much, I might skip it. So I'll give it a 6.5 and place it here. Coffee! Oh, this song is so sweet. This song actually samples Coffee by Urban Zacapa, which is also a bop that I've linked down below. Definitely check it out. The song is just so cute, and it has the sweetest vibes and melodies. The premise of this is basically that the guys come across Coffee and become overtaken by the memories of an ex-girlfriend or past crush. They're not quite clear about that. To be honest, I don't know much about coffee myself. I'm more of a hot chocolate girl, and I feel like people who are coffee enthusiasts may have more to say about this than I do. I found it so interesting how each rapper had their own interpretation of coffee and all its types, Americanos, espressos, macchiatos, etc., and each of these, had a different memory associated with it. Classical BTS lyricism. I'm gonna give it a solid 8.5. I certainly become enamored from this song time to time. So the cyphers are basically a series where the rap lines slice back at their haters, and they highlight the technical rap skills of the rap line over anything else. Frankly speaking, I don't know enough about rap to criticize it, so I decided not to do that. Like I mentioned before as well, I don't comment much on the production of a song because I'd feel extremely pretentious if I did. I'm gonna stick to the lyrics. That being said, sonically, this song wasn't for me. It contains a lot of interesting wordplay that I certainly appreciate, but the meaning of the song is quite straightforward, so I probably won't do a breakdown. It's just, BTS dissing their haters. My favorite lyric is Yoongi's, "I haven't served my military duty, but my hobby is sniping," because, well, same. Personally, I think they did the stick it to the haters thing better in We On, just like from a lyrical standpoint. But yeah, in row 5 it goes. 방탄소년단 진혁해 방탄소년단 좀 진혁해 방. Okay, I need to calm down. I get excited from BTS songs way too easily. If you guys don't know, the title of the song, Attack on Titan, is inspired by the manga and anime Attack on Titan, which is a pretty cool series. Also check it out. The lyrics also contain references to other anime series, from Slam Dunk to a meme based on StarCraft. For more info on this, check DualSet's page again. This song is pure fun. BTS in the second album vowing to take over the world, man, I'd love to see it. From Namjoon's tongue twister of a rap verse, to Hobie hitting home runs, to Jungkook and Yoongi talking about pushing down the dominoes for their success, to the chorus just going all out on the jumps and screams. If energy was a song, it would be this song. And the bridge, oh my god, the bridge. Just listen to Jungkook's voice. "The moment I go onto the stage, I feel your cheers. Please stay there forever like that, because even if I die like this, there will be no regrets." And why will BTS rise, you ask? Because of this. Because of how much they absolutely love their music, their performance, their fans. Man, I absolutely love this song, if you can't tell. And this might surprise people, but this is my first song that I'm going to rate an absolute masterpiece. Solid 10. When I tell people that my favorite thing about BTS is their lyrics, they always expect my favorites to also have super, deep meanings. And by deep, they generally mean painful or heart-wrenching. And while, don't get me wrong, I do love those songs. I do love songs where artists bleed their hearts out onto the page. But honestly, that doesn't mean fun songs have any less artistic value, or you can't get creative with lyrics. And I don't like that conception at all. So I'm gonna shout out Jinyo K Bangtan to my grave. Thank you very much. Paljagang-san, this is another one that I absolutely love. Honestly, you can't miss the live performance for this. I love how it's Hobi and Jin versus Yoongi, Jungkook, Taehyung, and Jimin. And then Namjoon just comes in at the end like, you're all losers, to be honest. The choreo is so fun. Anyways, a lot of people don't know this, but the original version of the song featured the rap line only and was released way back in 2011, which is like 2 years before BTS even debuted. Oh, and also, did you know that Tae said that he knew of BTS because of this song and signed with Big Hit because of it? I just thought that was really cool. The song is basically an argument over which Saturi, or regional dialect, is superior. If you haven't seen this video of DKTV breaking it down, I definitely recommend giving it a watch. It was super insightful for me as a non-Korean person since the song is filled with references to Korean culture and regional attitudes towards different dialects. Also, give the dual set page a read, it's very interesting. The highlight of the song for me is the bickering between J-Hope and Yoongi just before Namjoon launches into his verse. Yoongi's like, "Young men are the coolest," and Hope's like, "Young, fake news, shut the F up." And then Namjoon just launches in, preaching about peace and unity. It's just quintessential BTS. I love to see it. Solid 9 from me. Outro, Love in School. Okay, we're at the last one of Orayuli 2. This is a short outro by the vocal line of BTS. Basically, it's just about, pining after a girl. I don't have much to say about it, except that the vocals are heavenly, and it's a very sweet song. Plus, Jungkook's iconic, "Hey girl, wanna date me" at the end. I always vibe to it when it comes on, but, I never actually search for it, actively search for it myself, so here you go. Intro School Love Affair. Okay, this intro is the best thing ever. The rap line introduced their own styles of love with witty dialogue to break up the parts. Yoongi angers with a smooth, lo-fi beat and equally smooth lyrics. Hobi's like, "Bro, this ain't it. Love should be hopeful," and then rolls up with a happy bouncy beat with even happier and bouncy lyrics, only to be told by Namjoon that, "Kid, this ain't Bangtan style," who blasts a powerful instrumental with passionate lyrics that describe a selfless, unrequited love. The song is honestly such a vibe, and it's even more special to me because it's the sample of Intro Persona, which is one of my favorite songs in the world. Whenever I listen to it, it's kind of weird because this came before Intro Persona, but whenever I listen to this song, I feel nostalgic about Intro Persona. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's one of my favorite songs. Intro Persona is. So this is getting a solid 8. Boy and Love. Okay, I'll be honest. This is my least favorite BTS title track. There, I said it. Why? Okay, so it's about a teenager falling in love for the first time and, trying to be a manly man, as per the Korean title Sannamja, or at least adopt the characteristics of what he thinks a manly man is in order to get the girl, which I guess was one of the most popular tropes back in 2013, 2014. Seriously, it was all over pop culture in both the West and in Asian countries. I mean, I've seen it in so many YA novels and YA teen movies and anime and of course Korean dramas. The lyrics are, a bit aggressive to match this throughout the songs until it gets to the bridge actually, where the music and voices all soften and you realize yeah, it's just a kid who really likes this girl and wants to be with her without knowing how. I think it's very reflective of the emotions young guys experience, but that being said, I personally find them a little bit uncomfortable to read. I'm also not the biggest fan of growling. I prefer softer voices, so there's that. Although, of course, Taehyung did a really great job here. Overall, this just isn't my kind of thing, so I'm gonna give it a 6. Sorry to all the Boy and Love enthusiasts. Where are you from? This is a very mellow, chill song in which they use Saturi again. It's basically about Hobi and Yoongi, who are, both from different areas in Korea, trying to court the same girl and figure out where she's from, hence the "Where are you from" title. The funniest line is Yoongi saying, "Guys like Hosuk are so common, they're everywhere." Like Yoongi, 30 million army, wish that they were that common. Namjoon did the bridge this time, which was kind of a surprise since usually Hobi does it, at least in the earlier songs. And I thought it was ultra sweet. Being said, the song is somewhat bland to me. Nothing really stands out from it in comparison to any of their other songs, particularly their other love songs. I do listen to it if it comes up on any of my BTS's playlists, but I don't really go out and specifically listen to it, so and well, forward goes. Just one day. This is a really sweet and melancholic song. The vocal line really shines this track. It's basically about the guys dreaming about their ideal way of spending time with a romantic interest when they finally get a day off. They also allude to having given up a love because they were chasing their dreams, so the whole song is very bittersweet, at least to me. The live performance of this song is also very charming. Jin with the rose never gets old. I kind of enjoy watching them perform it live more than I do actually listening to the song, if I'm honest. It's a 7 for me. 7, 8, 7.5. Yeah, 7. Okay, also, for those of us who have it, you also need to watch the Just One Day Dance Practice Appeal version for 4 minutes and 15 seconds, obtained from Hold in His Laughter, featuring the weirdest cuts, and also Sachin serenading the audience with the Mario plushie. Love to see it. Tomorrow, this song, this song is everything. Okay, this song is gonna go right up in masterpieces before I even talk about it. I genuinely think that this is the best song off the entire Skool trilogy. Unrivaled masterpiece. The song talks about how monotonous the days can become, how each day blurs into the next, that you can barely tell them apart. It's a feeling that I know all too well, and after quarantine, I feel like unfortunately a lot of other people have been feeling the same way. It encapsulates the feeling of being stuck in life, in time, of wanting to move forward, of willing yourself to make even a little progress, but not being able to. I can usually pick out a favorite rap verse from a specific song, like one that speaks to me the most, but no, not with this. They all strike a chord so deeply within me. Yoongi talking about how he used to believe everything was possible when he was a kid, to becoming afraid of the future, to having each day feel like Control-C, Control-V, which, if you don't know, is keyboard language for copy and paste. Genius. Then the chorus just flips it up and is just so incredibly inspiring. Whatever you're standing right now, you're just taking a short break. My god, I needed to hear this when I first listened to it. Unfortunately, my short break started 7 months ago and is still ongoing, but we don't talk about that. Namjoon's verse starts off with tough love, both on the listener and on himself, and fades into hopelessness. The lyrics, tomorrow we waited for so badly, becomes today, today becomes yesterday, enhances the theme of a monotonous daily life. If you keep spacing out, you'll be swept away, translates to get your stuff together, because that's what we often tell ourselves, isn't it? We tell ourselves to get it together as if it's really that easy to do so. Life is not something you live along, but something you live through, is one of my favorite quotes from this song. Me, every other line. It's really how people end up viewing the world when they're feeling this bleak. I'm hesitant to say that this song is about depression, but I can confidently say that the sentiments echoed here are definitely something that a lot of folks suffering from depression can relate to. What would each day mean anyway, he asks, and receives no answer. Now Hobie's verse. Hobie's verse is literally everything. Okay, first of all, we start off with Hobie singing in a low voice. Can I mention, just as a side note, how much I absolutely love that? When he does that, when he sings a bit in his low voice before launching into a rap verse. Every song featuring Hobie's vocal ability is an instant hit. I don't make the rules here. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, we also have Jungkook harmonizing with him. Jungkook rap line harmonies are so wonderful to hear. Hobie's verse is far more hopeful than Namjoon and Yoongi's, and it's a great bridge that carries the sentiments from the verses and seamlessly melts them into the chorus. This is not a stop, but a pause for a brief rest in your life. The presence of the word rest makes all the difference. Rest carries the notion that the pause is deserved, that the pause in life is something you needed to regain energy, that it's not something that you need to beat yourself over. It's suiting for people who might be feeling self-hatred on top of the depressive phase or burnout to feel this way. The song showcases the rappers and the vocalists so beautifully. I love how Jungkook and Jimin and finally Jungkook bounce lines off each other for the chorus. I love how Taehyung's voice is distorted when the lyrics talk about screaming out of frustration because of how often it feels like no one is listening, no one is understanding, not even ourselves. The choreo for this is also so enthralling and perfectly captures the urgency inside the lethargy, the desperation inside the hopelessness of this song. Masterpiece, just a complete and utter masterpiece. Cypher Part 2. Okay, I like this one so much more than the first one. To be honest, I didn't quite vibe with it when I first listened to it, but then I heard them do a cypher medley live on stage. I think it was during Hawaiian Yona, one of the live stages anyway. And Namjoon did his part from this song. I heard the rah rah right part. That was actually my ringtone for quite a while. And suddenly, like, the world changed, and I started looking at the song completely differently. Namjoon's verse is definitely a scene stealer to me. The man goes hard. It's packed with wordplay and double meanings and all these crazy rhyme schemes that are sonically so pleasing. I would definitely recommend you check them out. My favorite line is Arms, this is a kingdom. I'm a king, you're dumb. That made me go, oh, and trust me when I say that I never go, oh. Also, Yoongi's laugh at the end is so cute, and even cuter because, you know, it's not supposed to be cute. I think what also enhanced my enjoyment of the song was the knowledge of the circumstances surrounding it. It was released a little time after Namjoon and Yoongi's, let's call it discussion with Be Free, the one I mentioned earlier. So, after seeing the way the two of them were treated there, this was just cathartic to listen to. One thing I've always admired about BTS is that they never quite sniped, as Yoongi says, at people in person. Quite the contrary, in fact. They were so civil in the discussion, even though they were both very young back then and they were being treated very poorly. If I were in their position, I don't think I could have handled it like that. But they shot back with their music, with substance. You think my rap isn't good? Then listen to this, that sort of thing. Show rather than tell. Speaks volumes, and it's just so admirable of them, you know? I'm gonna give it an 8. Please place it in third row. Spine breaker. Okay, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of this song is its iconic choreography created by the one and only Kim Seokjin. But that aside, the song is honestly such a good critique on high school fashion trends. Also, you know what I love about this album series? BTS snipe at the establishment, at the system, at society, at the haters, and now even at the students themselves. No More Dream and Eno both urge the listener to take charge of their own lives, but Spinebreaker takes it a step further by actually criticizing what they're doing. BTS urged their listeners to be the active main characters of the story, to make their own decisions, and to stop living life passively. They promote the notion that we have the right and responsibility to make life what we will of it, and that's such an important message to pass on to the youth. Anyhow, Spinebreaker was made in a time where padded jackets were all the rage in Korea, and so it specifically references those, but personally I think we can apply it to any fashion trend out there. For example, when I was in primary school, Abercrombie and Hollister sportswear was all the rage. You know, those fashion items that kids want for other than no reason than the fact that they're what's popular. It's basically sheep mentality. Namjoon touches upon the defense for this in 2 points. The first, even kids poorer than me have one, inferring that it'd be shameful for him not to own one. And the second, if I don't buy one, I'll be ostracized. The first I'll disregard because it's loaded with ego, but the second is a valid concern. Honestly, all most kids are concerned with at a high school is fitting in, and these meaningless fashion trends profit off this mindset. So with this, BTS acknowledge the circumstances of the kids that they're criticizing, and this also sets precedence for the kids to feel understood and actually listen to what is being said. Of course, I use the term kids loosely. This also extends to university students. What exactly is a spinebreaker though, you might be wondering? Yoongi contextualizes it as kids who whine about wanting expensive products, driving their parents to work so hard to afford them that their back spins, hence the term spinebreaker. Yoongi questions the value of a padded jacket in his verse, accusing these kids of being heartlessly relentless on their parents, and of course he even goes so far as to call these dirty clothes. And you know, Hobie makes the point that these kids care more about swaggering around than they do about their parents. What I love about the song is that instead of blaming the society which creates this sort of culture, which is true, but I believe in some cases it's used a lot as a scapegoat, they directly blame the kids themselves, because in the end, this affects kids and parents at an individual level. If I could sum the song up in one statement, it'd be don't be mindless sheep and try caring about your parents for once. Solid 9. In row 2 it goes. This is such a fun song, and it has the violent element of BTS fan songs that make them so good. substance. Jump is symbolic of Yoongi's childhood dream to jump around like a cartoon hero, of when Hobi first started to dance, of innocent Namjoon bouncing on a trampoline as a kid with dreams to finally become an adult. These verse in the chorus use jumping as a way to pump up, but the beat switches up for the bridge part. It sort of slows down and words. Yeah, there's a reason why I don't comment on the production much. It becomes more intense as Yoongi raps about how, although the dream is different to what they imagined, it hasn't changed. They're still rappers who aspire to be heroes. Namjoon's trampoline becomes the stage. He's determined to stop the talk and put on wings to show just how high the jump can take him. And the hook is played one last time before the song ends. Just wonderful storytelling all around. Rookie Bangtan was super obsessed with proving themselves, But I feel like some of the other fun songs do it better. Attack on Bangtan, for example. So, 2 3 it goes in. I give it to you. Yeah, I need to not sing. This is a pretty sweet song with an even sweeter melody. I also love how it starts off with the sound of a mic, so it's like a special confession of sorts. Also, not a lot of people know this, but there's like an unofficial extended version of the song they performed during the Red Bull tour, and it contains Jin's first lyrics, so yeah, it sounds very sweet. I'd give it a 7. Sounds I vibe the hell out of. Last track, Miss Right. It appears as a bonus track on the Skool Love Affair Special Edition, and it's a total bop. Confession, I did not like the song when I first listened to it. I don't know, I must have been suffering from internal brain damage or something. But then I saw it perform it live, and I was like, what is this? Why is this so good? And then it just got stuck in my head until the end of time, honestly. The vocal lines shine on this song. I'm telling you, they absolutely shine. First and foremost, we have Jimin harmonizing with Namjoon in his first verse, his voice sounding absolutely heavenly. Have I mentioned I love when the vocal line harmonizes with the rap line? I haven't. I think I must have. Anyways, all 4 of them, Jungkook, Taehyung, Jimin, and Jin, take turns singing the hook, and they all sound so wonderful doing so. I always find myself swaying my shoulders in the oddest of ways when the chorus comes on. TMI, maybe I should cut that out. But I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. The rap line all rap about their ideal types and what that girl means to them. A line from Yoongi's verse that sticks out to me is, rather than holding a designer bag, you hold my hand, because it reminds me of the scene from Put Your Head on My Shoulder. If you know, you know. And from Hobi's verse, a wind that is led by the weather called you is so sweet to me, and it ties very neatly to the sentiment that even the weather is perfect when I'm with you from the chorus. It's a 9 for me. Up there with songs on repeat. So there you have it, my final list. I was gonna leave it at the ranking, but Namjoon's always said, it's important to listen to an album in order and, pay attention to the storyline and the themes throughout. So some of my overall thoughts on this album are that I think it's a very solid debut album trilogy from BTS. It very much ties into the theme of what it means, or I guess what teens experience during school, and I feel like it could be relatable. Not only relatable, but it could also inspire thinking and reflecting, which is my favorite part of BTS's music, the fact that a lot of it makes you think and reflect on yourself, and I think this album makes you do just that, basically. Yeah. Now that I'm at the end of the video, suddenly I had this thought that, maybe I should have used a stage name for each of the members for those who are newer to BTS so that they can recognize them easier. Should I do this going forward? I had initially planned to see what the response was for this video before deciding to make the next one, but honestly, I enjoyed myself far more than I thought it would when I was making it. So, I might make the Dark and Wild list, regardless of whether this video does okay or not. If you guys disagreed with any of my rankings, please go ahead and discuss them down below. I can already tell that some of my placements might be annoying to people. If I was to predict what the most controversial one was, I feel like Boy in Love might be controversial. People tend to like that one. No. The most controversial one will be Just One Day. people will want me to place it higher. That's my prediction. But anyways, I'm excited to see you guys talk about it. And if you have like a different lyrical analysis of any of the songs, or you want to add something, or that's something I've missed, like please leave them down below. I'll definitely go through it. I could talk about BTS lyrics all day, but I try to keep it short for this video. I'll try to link everything I mentioned in this video in the description, so do check it out if you need the resources. If you would like to, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell. I can guarantee that if you do, you'll catch the next Members V Live. That's 100% true. I've been thinking of making this for a while now. So I started working on it early March and finally got it done, and I was about to upload it. And then the whole Grammy situation happened. Little thoughts I have on the Grammy situation, but I didn't want to like start my channel off as like a rant channel, because that's not what I want this to be. I just want a place where I can discuss BTS lyrics, because if you couldn't tell, I love BTS lyrics. But I mean, you know, things this year might have gone to plan, but hopefully next year. That's it. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.